Continuing, Rabbi Caplan?
And that's the mark that Rav Kook left on the world, was this idea of nationalism, which is against the healthy chush feeling, koach of b'nai nevim that Klal Yisrael has. The feeling is that this is not the way, especially when we're in Golus, that we have to be nichna, we have to keep ourselves low-key, not push our way, not to be married b'umras like the Gemara says. And that's and this idea, the idea of nationalism was against that. And Rav Yisroel weintraub, when the Akadom of this Sefer at Kufa Besoras Elya, so he brings that the Gedolim said that there was a Godol Echad in the last door that the Sitra Achra tried to find place to rest on him. And the Sitra Achra was successful by getting into him, and he uses the word Shebehofos Haruach Holov, and that's mamish what I was saying last week. When the spirit rested on him, I mean, when he got into a high, just like when you talk about taking drugs, so you talk about getting high. So when he got a high, and he had this cup without taking drugs, he was a tremendous Baal Regish, very emotional person.
Rabbi Caplan.
What?
We'll just say a word of astrology. He had this amazing Sun-Neptune conjunction in Earth, which explains these tofas you're saying.
But that's a stira, isn't it?
It's there's all sorts of steers.
Infusion.
Everybody is full of steers, but this is a very powerful steer, yes. That's why. He's still alive today. That's why people are interested today. He's Earth, but he had a hashra that comes from Sun conjunct Neptune.
So I don't know if everybody understands these words that our producer, which he himself, he has two kochas in him, our producer. He's also a producer and also an astrologer. But I don't know if everybody understands what he just said, but I'll just say, Bekitzer, what he just said was that he had a very strong koach of chazon, vision, ideas, getting high, spiritual, and yet it's in a place, these kochos are coming out from a certain place that's called Earth, which means practical. Now, how do you put together being practical and being very high?
Earth also means that it has an impact. People want to do something.
It comes down to the ground, to the earth, to this world. That his vision had an impact on the generation. That's why it's in Earth. And so you see that he left a mark till today. And in the realm of ideas, of abstract, but all that so this Rav Elya weintraub says that when the Ruach was Mofia on him, so it came out of him things that they led the generation astray after the idea of nationalism.
And this, Rabbi Caplan, lead a generation, be'emes, can only be done by a person with earth in him.
So
according to our Shita, yeah.
So it had to be, so according to astrology, so it had to be such a person that he's also a visionary, and he's also an earth person. That means he can have an influence on people. Like there's something that's just air, so it's kanon kola, it says in the view, like a cloud that just evaporates. But his words were not like a cloud that evaporates. They had an impact on a generation. But we in Golus are supposed to live with the idea that the only thing that holds us is the Torah. I mean, that's what holds us together is the Torah, not a land and not a state. That's not what holds us together. That's what cuts us off of the Torah, but not the thing that holds us together. And that was a mistake. And that's what I call Rav Kook a tragic figure and a failure. Meaning that what he tried to accomplish in the Olam Hazeh Gashmi, he did not accomplish anything. What he did accomplish was that he left the mark. His ideas were left till today, and the mistake that he gave out is still today. And it's just like the Chet HaEgel that they saw the Mitas Moshe mess. The Sultan showed them that Moshe Rabbeinu died. So they said, oh, Moshe Rabbeinu died, well, let's try something new. I mean, they could have gone, well, Moshe Rabbeinu's not here, so let's go to Aaron. Let's ask Aaron what to do. Let's make him the leader. And he'll continue in the ways of Moshe. But no, we see that we just not got Matan Torah, and we were in a matziv of Adja Melech B'Mesibo. We were sitting at the king's table for 40 days after Matan Torah, and it was a matziv that's called Ahava B'Tanugim, the greatest, strongest feeling of love to Hashem, of connecting to Hashem. It's the greatest pleasure that could be. And that was the matzah for 40 days. We were like that until the last day the Sultan came in, and he showed a picture. He made darkness and confusion, and he showed the Mitas Moshe mess. And what did they do? They said, "Oi, till now we were living with a Torah, with a Moshe Rabbeinu, even though he's in the heaven, for the teaching that he taught us in Matan Torah, the message that he gave over to us, that came from Hashem to us through him. We lived with it and we felt good from it. But now what are we going to do in the darkness and the confusion? Let's try something new. Let's bring a new idea. Let's try the Egel HaZohov." That's what the Erev Rav talked them into. And we're suffering from that till today. Like the Pasuk says, "Ubiyom pokti upokadeti aleim chatosom." And the Chazal say that in every generation, every punishment, every time that Klal Yisrael gets beaten, it's always part of it is from the Chet HaEgel. That means it's not just that Hashem extended the punishment of the Egel for many generations, for hundreds of years. It's that the Chet HaEgel, the poison of the Chet HaEgel is in us till the end of time. Because we always are suffering from this rutzon to look for something new. Instead of just sitting in the Beis Medrash and learning, instead of connecting to Hashem through a piece of Gemara and a piece of Tosfos, so we look for maybe there's new things, maybe there's new ways, and maybe we could take a certain person and connect to him, and he'll pull us out of Gehenna. Instead of Yegia v'Omal HaTorah, maybe there's a connection to a certain tzaddik that he can pull us out of Gehenna. And these ideas, this mistake of looking for something to stay with us, ad sof kol hadoros, and that's why the punishment of the Chet HaEgel is with us until the end of time. And that was the mistake over here. That he was so high, and he had such vision that he came in. He started saying things that are different than the way and pshutim and tmimim that are being over the Hashem in their way, which many times Hashem has more nachas ruach from them than from those in the base medrash. But it's all with pshitas and tmimas in the Yiddish way. All of a sudden, a new idea comes up that we're going to find holiness in all kinds of secular places. Those that came to build up Eretz Yisrael, the Chalutzim, that they used their energy not there for Yiddishkeit, only for drying up swamps. Ooh, that's where there's holiness over there. And over there we can find holiness. Over there we can find Kirbas Hashem. In that secularism, that might be based on very deep Kabbalistic ideas. But Klal Yisrael always had the feeling, stay away from this, go with the Masoros, Ziloch Bikvei Atzon, go in the way that your ancestors went. Don't look for these new ideas. Vani betumi eile, I'm going betmimis. And from here we get to the second thing I wanted to talk about. Rav Elya weintraub brings b'shem de Gro in the Sefer Atkufa Besoras Elya on Amud Choftes of the Sefer. So he brings Agro at the Mokom Acher. I don't know, he doesn't bring where it is. The Gro says, the Mishnah in Chagiga says, whoever is not chosal kvod konu, whoever doesn't give kavod to Hashem, roy lo shlo bolol, he never should have been born. And the Gemara says, what does it mean? Zeh mistakel bekeshes. He looks at the rainbow, and the Gro says that means that he looks at the kvod shemaim that's melubish inside the ra, because it says in Pasuk, Malchuso Bakol Masholah. Hashem's kingdom is all over, even in the deepest depths of the Ra. But it's true, it is like that. But somebody that looks into it and looks into finding the Kvod Shemaim that's in the garbage can, that's in the greatest tumor, to that person that looks for that, it's Roy Lo Shalo Bolo. Would have been better he never came to the world. It's such a thing that doing this makes a person that as if he shouldn't be here. If somebody looks for the good, sparks of good that are to be found in the deepest places of the Ra, so such a person is Roy Lo Shalo Bolo.
Rabbi Caplan.
What?
There's a famous Torah from Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, a Zomer, where we have to look for the good points in everything.
So you're asking a good question. Rabbi Nachman Breslover says that we have to look for the Nekuda Tova in everything. And here I'm saying...
They named his yeshiva, Nekuda Tova.
Oh, yeah, we know somebody that named his yeshiva like that. And here you're saying that it's a mistake to look at. You're not allowed to look at the good that's gonus in the Ra. Very good. Now, I would say two answers. One answer is more simple and one answer is deeper. The more simplistic answer is that this what Rav Nachman Breslover said was talking on how a person should look at himself. How to look at yourself. And you might have fallen and fallen and fallen. But still, you always still have a good point. And that good point, you should focus on that. And use that to go on and you avoid Hashem and not give up. But here, when we say Mistakel Bekesh...
Rabbi Caplan, we're taking another break. Thank you.